Good morning. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. A Saturday morning hustle, out working the competition while they still sleep. Not Monday through Friday, not 9 to 5, but earning it on the weekend. Today is part 4 of our 5-part series on misunderstood and misutilized terms and techniques for building business success. Number 4, Biz Dev, business development, probably the most misunderstood and misused technique that we're going to talk about in this 5-part series. If I ask 100 people what Biz Dev is, they'll tell you 100 different definitions. Today, I'm going to give you my definition along with how to use it, why to use it, and how you can encompass these ideas and technical aspects, the techniques, the execution into sustainable success for your business or self-brand. So that's number 4 in the 5-part series. Of course, we started with marketing. We went into advertising and communications. Then we went into customer service and replacement of sales. Now we're talking about Biz Dev. Next week, we'll talk about business process management, how to market and manage it all together in a system that works for you. But today, we're focused on Biz Dev, business development. And I'm going to get deep into the details of this. So with that in mind, here we go. I'm throwing on the cans, and we're going to record the episode. So stick around, check it out. I hope you like it. Leave a comment, leave a review, hit me up on social media if you like it, dislike it, agree, disagree, want to join the conversation. I appreciate it very much. So with that in mind, here we go. Good morning. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. The Saturday Morning Hustle Podcast. Out working the competition while they still sleep. Not Monday through Friday, not 9 to 5. We hustle and grind. We outwork the competition on the weekend. That's how we earn it. Today is our part 4 of our 5-part series of misunderstood, misutilized business concepts for building sustainable success. Number 4, Biz Dev, business development. We started off, number 1, with marketing, what marketing is and isn't. Number 2, advertising and communications, because that's not marketing. Number 3, customer service in place of a sales process, because I don't do sales, I do customer service. You can too. Number 4, business development, Biz Dev, a very misunderstood, misdefined, and then misutilized element of building a successful business. We're going to go deep into it today. And then next week, we'll talk about business process management, how to put all of these 4 things we've already talked about together into a system that works for you. So speaking of systems, there is a lot of talk of systems in business development and biz dev, in my definition of it and what we're going to talk about today. So with that, let's roll right into it. The most often misunderstood business concept and definition is definitely business development. Biz Dev, as they call it often. Biz Dev is not sales. We talked about last week customer service in sales. Too many people think of business development is developing leads that can be converted into sales. In developing audiences, developing marketing, they think that's what the dev in Biz Dev is defined as. And that's not true. We've already talked about last week, customer service in the sales process. Today is business development. It is completely different. Business development, although it has aspects and it has effects on marketing, advertising, customer service, communications, and every other process inside a business, it is a separate idea about how to do each of these things. So Biz Dev, business development, is definitely different than marketing, advertising, sales, and communications. So now we know what it's not. Let's talk about exactly what it is. Biz Dev is the continual development, improvement of your business, development, improvement of your business. In fact, the development of every aspect of your business to maximize the potential of those items, those elements, those departments, those areas of your business. Every business is broken up into departments or different aspects of how you do things. There's production, there's delivery and logistics, there's sales, there's accounting and HR, there's management, leadership, etc. All of these things work together cohesively to be your business or the business processes. Business development, the way I approach business development, the way we're going to talk about it today, because I think it's the most advantageous for anyone listening to this podcast, is how to maximize each one of these areas, the systems and processes and rules and things that make them work in their area, their silos, if you will, their verticals, and collaboratively in order to benefit the business, the brand, the sales effort, the top line and the bottom line. I'll explain that a little bit more in a little bit later on, in order to make a business successful. Business development is building, developing, improving every aspect of your business in order to maximize the potential of every aspect of your business. That is the definition for me and what we're going to talk about today for business development. So every aspect of your business can be continually improved, continually developed, and then adjusted again as market changes, as other factors changes, as your audience changes, etc., because that's what business is. Business, a successful business, is the person, the organization, the group, the team that best manages change, because business is always changing. Let me say that again. Business is always changing. All of the parameters, everything that you do, there's no such thing, even if you feel like you go in the office every day and do the same thing, if you go in the assembly line and do the same thing, if you feel like you literally are on a 1, 2, 3, 4 assembly line where we do the same thing every day, there are so many aspects to running a business that change on a regular basis that you are not doing the same thing every day when you run and manage the business. There are people, employees come and go. You add and subtract. Market conditions change, competition, regulation, government effect, World War III, COVID, all of these things affect how you do business. Your vendor network, your subcontractors, your collaborators, the human beings involved, your audience, your customer, your client, even the technology, how you communicate with them, or any other aspect of these processes. When one single piece changes, like a domino effect, it affects every other aspect of your business. If you're not continually improving, not continually addressing, adjusting, making things better, and doing business today instead of doing business last week, last month, last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you're continually doing how we've always done it and not innovating, not improving, not doing better, your business is likely to fail. So in order to avoid that likely failure, that uneventful failure that you obviously want to avoid, you need to have a process of business development, of continual inspection, update, review, innovation, etc. So it starts and runs through every single department in a business. So as the leader, as the top person, if you're the CEO, if you're the president, if you're the founder, if you're the head person in charge, you have to look at every aspect of this and continually be improving every aspect of your business. If you're a self-brand, you need to take the different elements of your brand, the product or service itself, your marketing, your communication, your outward reach. All of those things are departments within the business of your self-brand. You need to be continually improving them as well. And then the people who work for you in each of these areas, each of these silos and verticals, need to be doing their part to improve their processes every time as well. So product development and production. Obviously, you can't make the same thing over and over again. You always have to be finding new ways to doing things. Every year you get a new model of the Chevy or the Ford or the Tesla, if you will, and because those products have to continually update. There's a new iPad, a new iWatch, a new iPhone. All kinds of things are continually upgrading and improving because that's what the audience is looking for, that's what they're demanding, and they're expecting you to manage that change. So product development, production of that product. If the product itself changes, you have to change the way you produce it. You also have to find ways to produce it better, cheaper, faster, more efficient, etc. We went from having gigantic factories producing out automobiles to now what they call micro factories spread around different parts of the country for something like automobile production. So it's a great example of how product development production needs to continually improve and develop. Marketing. We talked about earlier, episode 1, what marketing is, but one of the aspects for that is marketing is a two-way conversation. You put marketing out into the world, you put through advertising and other types of communication, you put out the messaging you want, you receive it back. Marketing is a two-way conversation. You receive feedback, the things that your audience appreciates, the things that they don't, the things they find value in, the things that they don't, etc. That eternal listening to your audience, identifying opportunities, making the adjustments, and trying to attempt to do better the next time that you go to market with a message is a two-way conversation. That's continual development of your marketing department, your marketing approach, your techniques, your tactics, etc., and your strategy. Customer service, sales, same thing. How your audience is reacting to it, how well it's working, more of things that work, less of things that don't. But even things like an internally thing like logistics, accounting, HR, and your corporate leadership, your leadership team, the C-suite and other people in charge, your managers, mid-level managers, anyone who is a team leader, who is inspiring others, who is motivating others, you continually have to be doing things better in order to keep your people happy, attract and retain the best employees, the best people in your leadership team, thus to lead them. You can't do the same thing over and over again. You have to find better ways to do it every time. That continual development of a better way of doing it at a continual business development. Develop systems within your business that improve your business. That is business development. Sales, developing sales is an action, is a technique within the sales process. It's a minor, small thing. If you're taking Biz Dev at its value, the way I define it, if you're continually improving everything about your business, product, marketing, sales, customer service, logistics, delivery, you're taking care of your people inside internally and encouraging them to communicate with leadership, to create two-way conversations, and to be invested, to have buy-in themselves, have pride in themselves, which creates corporate culture. Benefits of corporate culture, again, attract and retain the best employees. They become the most innovative employees. They bring forth good ideas. You continually innovate. You find ways to beat your competitors, outmaneuver your competition, and do things, deliver to your audience in a better way, deliver as expected but better. That is the recipe for success. It just seems like a long run-on sentence there about how to do it, but I'll explain that all to you completely right now. So every aspect of your business can be improved, reviewed, and improved again if leadership is continually in a business development process. If those in charge and the people empowered through the process are continually developing a better system, are continually improving and doing things better, the outcomes will be better, the business will benefit, and everyone will have a better job, a more secure job, better pay, etc. So there's always value and benefit to everyone in the organization, but it starts from the top. It comes down. It has to start with leadership, having an attitude of continual improvement, of innovation, and of communication. So why is this important? Why is continual business development important? Why is it better to do things at a continually better way? Why is it better to create effectiveness, create efficiency, and do things as far as part of your process in a better way every time you do it? Simple. A business must be profitable to survive. I've said this 100 times on this podcast. You know this. Profit is essential for business. There are two ways you create profitability within a business. Number one is drive additional sales. That's an external process that is better connection, better communication of your message, etc., with your target audience. That's through your marketing strategy, the thin directs, your advertising, your public relations, your other outward communication, and then the customer service and conversion process. We've covered that in the first 3 episodes of this 5-part series. That is an external process. You have control as to how much effort you put into it, how effectively and efficiently you can be at that. But ultimately, that part of the biggest part of that two-way conversation is the external audience. It's other people. You have no control over them and no guarantee what happens, what doesn't, the order it happens, etc. And then even listening in that part of that two-way conversation, the listen back to the conversation, can sometimes be difficult to understand and expensive to do, because every person reacts differently. And even though they're your target audience and you've really dialed down your message, you've done all your good marketing strategy we talked about on episode 1, it still can sometimes be hard, confusing, and not clear the message that you're receiving back from your audience. So that's one way that you need to drive sales in order to create a better profitability within your business. Number 2, though, is an internal process that you have much more control over, and that is effective and efficient. By making everything you do, every process inside your business, everything you do, that everyone touches, they put their hands on, again, production, in sales, in marketing, in HR, in accounting, in delivery, in logistics, all of those things can be improved in order to lower cost and increase efficiency, increase the output, make it faster, easier to deliver, lower the cost, or at least not raise the price, out-deliver the expectations set by your marketing in collaboration with your audience. Say that again. Your audience expects a certain value level, and that's why they do business with you. They expect certain value from you for doing business with you. You provide them a product or service at value they find to be fair. If you meet that expectation, you have a business relationship that can be repeatable. If you exceed that expectation because your business development process has improved, has lowered cost, created efficiency, you do it faster, you do it smarter, you do it better without raising the cost or even lowering the cost to your end consumer, then you've created a win-win for you and them, and the depth of your business relationship and the likelihood of repeating that sale, that transaction, that conversion becomes much higher, and then those over-met expectations become the ability to create people who will give referrals to people who recommend you, and people who become brand evangelists or brand ambassadors. So the effectiveness outwardly of creating efficiency, of lowering the cost or at least keeping them where they are, outperforming expectations, are all done by internally examining everything you do. Making everything you do the best aspect of what it is by a continual process of business development, of continually developing better systems. Internal efficiency is much more controllable, and ultimately not only will it not interfere with your consumer experience, can improve your consumer experience and develop deeper depths of relationships with your consumer, with your customer, with your audience, with the people who spend their time and money with you and then recommend you to others. It's a much more manageable process, much more achievable expectations, and then it definitely results in a better outcome in the business world. So, business development is about reducing waste, improving productivity, creating efficiency, easier path to success for every employee and the business themselves. If you make production easier, if you take 7 steps and make them 5 steps, the employees that have to take those 7 steps will be much happier making the 5 steps. If you cut waste, if you cut out things that waste people's time, that time is as money. If it don't make people work harder, let them work smarter, they will feel better about their job. They'll play their role better. They'll be better motivated. Your corporate culture will go up. Everything benefits. And the bottom line, the top line and bottom line of the business improves because your output is better and because the repeat ability of the business improves as well. We have discussed that many times on this series and the podcast in general. Repeatable business is the best business. The likelihood of that coming from creating effectiveness and efficiency in your processes is the reason business development is so important. And then happy employees comes right after that as to creating the potential for you to be success. So it's a controllable process. It is a process of always learning. It is a system that continually updates itself. It is working smart, not working harder. Now that you're working smart, a little bit of working harder goes a long ways. That's why business development, a process of business development, the attitude, the effort, the focus on doing things these ways in the right order all the time with a continual improvement, continual finding efficiency, continually striving for effectiveness, always trying to lower your internal costs or control your internal costs so that you don't have to pass them on to your audience, so that you can over-deliver on expectations set by them and you through your marketing, is a great, wonderful, beneficial, and easier to control process for you. So that's why it's important to focus on that more then focus on driving new sales. That's why business development gets its own section in the 5 parts of this series. So, reduce waste, improve efficiency, create efficiency, an easier path to success. All these things are working smart, and that's what you want to do. This is better for your business, for customers, for sales, for delivering the product innovation. These things don't just happen. Higher sales, better reputation, innovation, differentiation from your competitors, things that set you apart, a better business relationship, deeper relationships with your consumers, attitudes about your brand. All of these things do not accidentally happen. They must be worked at. There's effort put behind it. You must be strategic and specific. And one of the ways to guarantee that you're always moving towards that. Now, the outcomes are always going to be variable, but how you move towards that on a continual basis is business development, of continually developing the elements of your business, continually building systems that maximize every effort within the business. Maximization of your business is essentially what you're doing. You're maximizing the efforts of the human beings and the systems, the processes, the rules, the protocols, all of that. Now, we'll get into what all of those things are in episode 5 in BPM, but I'm going to leave you with this today, this understanding of the word systems. When I say build systems, when I say talk about building effectiveness and efficiency through systems, there's a definition that I give you of what business development is. A system are rules, processes, guidelines, best practices, and most importantly, protocols for operation. All of those things together are a system for operation. Systemizing your business, understanding what needs to be done to achieve your minimum expectation, and then doing better is systemization. Building systems and going towards systemization. And sometimes people are afraid of the idea of systemization. They feel like it takes the creativity or some sort of spontaneity, or they don't want people to think like they're doing the same thing over and over again. Systemization actually is the exact opposite of that. It does not limit creativity. It does not limit innovation because it takes care of the routine processes. It takes care of something that is routine, is researched, and is regular. Routine, research, regular. It's routine. It's something you do all the time. Regular, also something that you have to do in a system. It has to start in one place to become to another place to get to there. You have to do 1 before 2, before 3, before 4. You have to do A before B, before C, before D. That is regular and routine. Researched means you have taken the time to examine all these processes and decided this is the best process at this time, and then you will reevaluate that sometime in the future and compare that to how that moves you forward. All right, guys, I'm going to say that one more time. I'm making an emphasis on this point because I want you to walk away with this in mind when it comes to business development. Systems, what systems are, the rules, processes, guidelines, best practices, and most importantly, protocols for operation is what a system is. That's how you define a system. Now, why is protocols the most important? Because protocols is a looser set of rules that empowers your employees and the people doing the job themselves to make the best decision based on what they know from leadership about the outcome that's expected. Protocols are where you have freedom and creativity and innovation happens. But in order to get there, you need the regular stuff, the things that can't be fudged, that need to be exactly the way they are, to be set into stone. That's rules, processes, and something that is written down and is adhered to. Then you have the room and the flexibility through protocols because of the understanding from the top down and the bottom up of what you're trying to achieve, the role everyone's trying to play, who the brand, what the brand is, who it represents, who your consumer is, etc. Understanding of that empowers your employees to work through processes, basic guidelines with decision making from them as human beings, their best judgment, common sense, their expertise, the knowledge that they have from doing the job every day is a protocol that allows them to innovate, make changes, updates, and then something that can be rolled into your business development process as you review and attempt to improve again in the future. So systems are a combination of all these things, of hard rules, of particular guidelines, of processes, rules, guidelines, best practices, all of those things that are pretty standard and set. And there's something that you expect your people working in your business to do, along with protocols that give them the space to make improvements or at least address issues and try to make improvements through the business development process. So we're going to end on that, because that bleeds into what episode 5 will be, which will be BPM, Business Process Management, which is what we'll talk about next week, part 5 of the 5-part series. That was part 4, business development. I hope you guys appreciated it. If you have questions, if you have thoughts about it, please hit me up on social media. Let me know what you think. Of course, it's Saturday. I'm in the office. It's the Saturday Morning Hustle. Listen every Saturday on the Anchor app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, YouTube, anywhere you find great podcasts. Stream, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you get your Saturday Morning Hustle swag. You got the Saturday Morning Hustle black tee on today. You can get Entrepreneur AF and Coffee and Donuts swag as well. Follow on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the Facebook page, fan page as well. Don't miss the latest episode of the Balance series, the bonus series that I put out the last Monday of every month. The current is balancing collaboration versus leadership, charismatic leadership versus just not giving enough. You know what I'm talking about. Check out that as episode as well. Audio only, not on YouTube. And of course, all the information, all the previous posts, all of the podcast platforms you can find each and every episode on is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. The swag is there as well. So it's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. This is the Saturday Morning Hustle. Go out there and outwork the competition while they sleep in. It's a lifestyle. It's not Monday through Friday. It's not 9 to 5 if you want to become the next big thing. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation. So get to work. See you next week.
Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Wake up and keep chasing your dreams.